a woman who knows the power of her mind. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Today I want to talk about something unstoppable, something invincible, and something truly life-changing, a woman who knows the power of her mind. You see, when a woman knows her mind, she doesn't just live, she thrives. She doesn't just hope, she creates. She doesn't just exist, she changes the world. We've all seen her, haven't we? The woman who walks into the room and it feels like the air changes. Not because of what she's wearing, not because of the way she looks, but because of the energy she carries. She knows something most people overlook, that her mind is her greatest weapon. A woman who knows the power of her mind turns obstacles into opportunities because she understands that challenges are not meant to stop her but to strengthen her. Life will always present roadblocks, financial struggles, societal expectations, heartbreak, self-doubt, but she refuses to let them define her or limit her potential. Instead of dwelling on the difficulty of the situation, she shifts her focus to what can be gained, what can be learned, and how she can emerge stronger on the other side. It's not that her path is any easier than anyone else's. In fact, she often faces adversity that might break others. The difference lies in her mindset. She sees obstacles as tools for growth, not as barriers to her success. When she encounters a challenge, she doesn't give in to the urge to complain or retreat. Instead, she asks herself, what is this teaching me? How can I use this to get closer to where I want to be? She understands that every great achievement comes with its share of struggle, and she embraces the struggle because she knows it is part of the process. Her ability to reframe situations is what sets her apart. Where others might see a dead end, she sees an opportunity to create her own path. It's not just optimism, it's a deeply rooted belief that every problem holds within it a seed of possibility. This doesn't mean she doesn't feel fear, frustration, or doubt. She does. She's human after all. But she doesn't allow those emotions to dictate her actions. When fear whispers that she's not good enough, she acknowledges it, but she doesn't let it take the wheel. Instead, she uses fear as a signal to grow. She steps into discomfort, knowing that it is the only way to expand her capacity. Challenges become a playground for her potential, a space where she can test her limits and discover what she's truly capable of. She is resourceful too. When faced with a lack of resources, she doesn't see it as an excuse to stop. She sees it as an invitation to innovate. She finds ways to do more with less, to think creatively, and to push boundaries. Whether it's starting a business with minimal capital, balancing a demanding career with family responsibilities, or pursuing education against all odds, she proves time and again that resourcefulness and resilience can outshine any obstacle. Her ability to turn obstacles into opportunities also stems from her refusal to play the victim. She doesn't blame others or wait for someone to rescue her. Instead, she takes full ownership of her life and her circumstances. She knows that by taking responsibility for her reactions and her mindset, she holds the power to change her situation. This doesn't mean she doesn't ask for help when needed. Rather, it means she doesn't rely on others to create solutions for her. She is an active participant in her own story, not a bystander waiting for change. Failure to her is not something to be feared but embraced. She understands that failure is often a prerequisite for success and that every setback is an opportunity to try again with more wisdom. When something doesn't work out, she doesn't see it as the end of the road. She evaluates what went wrong, makes adjustments, and moves forward. She doesn't allow herself to be paralyzed by perfectionism or the fear of judgment. Instead, she sees failure as proof that she's taking risks, pushing herself, and striving for something greater. She never loses sight of her vision. Even when the journey gets hard, when progress feels slow, and when the world seems to be against her, she holds on to her purpose. That vision becomes her guiding light, helping her to see past the immediate difficulty and focus on the bigger picture. This clarity allows her to turn even the toughest situations into stepping stones toward her goals. Her strength doesn't come from avoiding obstacles, it comes from facing them head on, finding the hidden opportunity, and continuing to move forward. No matter what, her mindset is her greatest weapon against fear. doubt, and failure because it is the foundation upon which everything else in her life is built. The world constantly bombards us with messages that can shake our confidence, societal standards, personal setbacks, and the weight of expectations. But a woman who knows the power of her mind understands that the most important thing is not what happens to her, but how she chooses to respond. Fear, for most people, is a powerful deterrent. It whispers about failure, about the unknown, about how things might not work out. It tries to control the narrative and keep us in a space where we feel safe but stagnant. A woman who has mastered her mind doesn't ignore fear. She acknowledges it, but she doesn't let it dictate her path. She has learned that courage is not the absence of fear, but the ability to move forward despite it. Fear is a natural emotion, but it doesn't have to control her. Instead, she redefines fear as an opportunity to push through barriers and to prove to herself just how strong she truly is. Doubt, another powerful enemy, tries to undermine her confidence. It asks, what if you fail? Or what if you're not good enough? But a woman who knows her mind has the tools to silence that voice. She has spent time developing an inner dialogue that speaks louder than the negative voices around her. Instead of listening to doubt, she replaces it with affirmations of her worth and capabilities. She has trained herself to remember her victories, no matter how small, and to draw strength from past successes. She knows that the doubts she feels are often just temporary obstacles, not reflections of her true potential. Rather than allowing them to overwhelm her, she uses doubt as motivation to prove it wrong. Failure is perhaps the greatest test of a strong mindset. So many people fear failure that they avoid taking risks altogether. They become paralyzed by the thought of not succeeding. But for the woman who has learned the power of her mind, failure is not something to fear, it's something to embrace. She knows that failure is an inevitable part of life and an essential part of growth. When she fails, she doesn't see it as a reason to quit. Instead, she views it as a stepping stone towards success. Each failure is a lesson that sharpens her skills, strengthens her resolve, and brings her one step closer to her goals. She doesn't see herself as a failure for having failed. She sees the experience as a valuable part of her journey. Failure only holds power over those who choose to let it define them. She refuses to be defined by failure. The power of her mind allows her to take all these obstacles, fear, doubt, and failure, and transform them into opportunities for growth. She doesn't need external validation to believe in herself. She is her own source of strength. She has cultivated resilience, knowing that it's not the circumstances that shape her, but how she chooses to perceive and respond to those circumstances. She understands that challenges, big or small, are temporary, but her mindset will carry her through. This mental fortitude doesn't come overnight. It's the result of deliberate practice of consciously training her mind to be stronger than her emotions, to stay focused on what matters most, and to believe that every setback is just a setup for a comeback. Each day she reaffirms her belief in her capabilities, reminding herself that no matter what comes her way, she has the power to navigate it. Whether it's a rejection, an unexpected loss, or a difficult decision, she remains rooted in the belief that she can handle whatever life throws her way. Her mindset becomes an unshakable force. The world around her may be chaotic, but her mind remains steady, clear, and focused. She doesn't let the negativity of others affect her sense of self. She doesn't let circumstances define her worth. Instead, she defines her worth through her mindset, through her choices, and through the way she responds to challenges. This powerful, resilient mindset becomes her greatest weapon, enabling her to rise above fear, doubt, and failure and move toward the life she has always dreamed of. Building mental strength requires daily effort and self-belief, because like any muscle in the body, the mind needs consistent training and nourishment to grow. It's not enough to simply wish for strength. It requires a commitment to push through discomfort, challenge limiting beliefs, and work toward developing resilience. The process of strengthening the mind is ongoing. It's a habit, a mindset, and a lifestyle. It's not about quick fixes or shortcuts. It's about showing up every single day, even when the progress feels slow, and investing in your mental well-being with intention and consistency. The journey to building mental strength begins with self-awareness. A woman who knows the power of her mind understands that the first step to growth is acknowledging where she currently stands. She doesn't pretend to be perfect, nor does she shy away from recognizing her areas of weakness. Instead, she embraces this awareness with a sense of curiosity. She asks herself, where am I struggling? What patterns of thought are holding me back? What fears am I allowing to control my life? The more she becomes attuned to her own mental landscape, the more she is able to identify the beliefs and habits that no longer serve her. From there, she can begin the process of dismantling them and replacing them with healthier, empowering ways of thinking. Mental strength also requires the ability to silence the negative self-talk that often runs in the background of our minds. That voice that says you're not enough, or you can't do this, or you don't deserve success. This voice is not the truth. It's simply a pattern formed over time, often by external influences, past experiences, or societal conditioning. The woman who understands the power of her mind doesn't listen to this voice passively. She challenges it. She rewrites her inner narrative. She actively works to replace self-criticism with self-compassion. When she falls short, she doesn't berate herself. She picks herself up, learns from the experience, and moves forward with renewed determination. The more she practices this, the less power the negative voice has over her. Building mental strength also means pushing past comfort zones. Growth doesn't happen when we're sitting in the same familiar space, avoiding challenges and clinging to what we know. Real mental fortitude is developed when we step outside of our comfort zones and stretch ourselves into new, unfamiliar territory. It's when we take that first step towards something that scares us, whether that's pursuing a new career, confronting a difficult truth, or standing up for what we believe in. The woman who builds mental strength doesn't shy away from the discomfort that comes with growth. She embraces it, knowing that the discomfort is a sign that she's expanding her capacity. Each time she faces her fears, doubts, and insecurities head on, she strengthens her ability to handle whatever life throws her way. Resilience is a crucial element of mental strength, and it can only be cultivated through experience. Every setback, every failure, every disappointment is an opportunity to build resilience. A woman who understands her mind doesn't see these challenges as signs that she's on the wrong path. Instead, she sees them as proof that she's moving forward, taking risks, and striving for something better. She doesn't give up when things get tough. She finds the lesson in the struggle, uses it to adjust her approach, and keeps moving forward. Her resilience becomes an inner fire that fuels her through the difficult moments, reminding her that no matter how many times she falls, she will always rise again. Another important aspect of building mental strength is setting boundaries and learning to say no. A woman who is mentally strong understands that she cannot pour from an empty cup. She learns to protect her energy, time, and mental space by saying no to things, people, or situations that drain her. This doesn't mean she's selfish. It means she values herself enough to recognize when something is not in alignment with her goals, her values, or her peace of mind. By setting boundaries, she ensures that she's preserving her mental strength, and in doing so, she shows up as the best version of herself, not just for others, but for herself as well. Building mental strength requires constant nourishment. This means surrounding herself with positive influences, feeding her mind with books, podcasts, and experiences that encourage growth and empowerment. It means practicing mindfulness, meditation, or other practices that allow her to center herself, reflect on her thoughts, and connect to her deeper sense of purpose. Just as the body needs healthy food to function at its best, the mind needs positive, constructive input to remain strong and focused. It's a daily commitment, a habit of continually choosing what she feeds her mind, and by doing so, she sets herself up for success. The stronger her mind becomes, the more capable she is of facing whatever challenges come her way with confidence, clarity, and unwavering belief in herself. That she doesn't just change her life, she inspires others to rise too. Because a woman who knows the power of her mind understands that true strength isn't just about personal success. It's about lifting others up along the way. When she steps into her own power, she doesn't hoard it, she shares it. She becomes a beacon of light, a source of inspiration for those around her. This is not about seeking recognition or praise. It's not about looking for validation or a pat on the back for helping others. She doesn't need external approval to keep going. The impact she has on those around her is its own reward. It's about understanding that the more she embodies her true self and lives authentically, the more she inspires others to do the same. Her strength becomes contagious and her resilience becomes a source of hope for those who may be struggling. She shows others what's possible, not just with her words, but through her actions. She leads by example, and that example is one of courage, determination, and unwavering belief in the power of the mind. When she faces challenges and rises above them, it serves as a silent but powerful message to others that they too can overcome their own obstacles. It's easy to look at someone who is successful and think that person has it all together. What we often don't see is the struggle, the setbacks, and the moments of doubt. But when she shares her journey, when she talks about the hardships she's faced and how she conquered them, it opens a door for others to walk through. It allows them to see that success isn't just for the lucky few. It's for anyone willing to put in the work to change their mindset and to refuse to give up in the face of adversity. Inspiring others is not always about grand gestures or public displays. Sometimes it's the quiet support she offers, the encouragement she gives when someone feels like quitting. It's the words of wisdom, the listening ear, the gentle push to keep going when things seem impossible. A woman who knows the power of her mind understands that sometimes the greatest gift she can give to another person is the belief that they are capable of achieving their dreams. She sees potential in others even when they don't see it in themselves, and she encourages them to step into their own power. She helps them realize that the only thing standing between them and their goals is their mindset, and she shows them that it's possible to shift that mindset if they're willing to do the work. Her impact is also felt in the way she nurtures relationships. She doesn't just offer advice or motivation, she builds people up. She recognizes that we are all interconnected, that our growth is tied to the growth of others, and that by empowering those around us, we create a ripple effect that spreads far beyond our immediate circle. She invests in her relationships, in her family, her community, her friends, and her colleagues, understanding that by helping others achieve their dreams, she is also fulfilling her own purpose. This woman's power lies in her belief that there is enough success to go around. She doesn't compete with others, nor does she envy their accomplishments. She knows that her journey is unique, and she celebrates the success of others as much as her own. Her mindset is one of abundance, not scarcity, and she understands that helping others rise doesn't take away from her own growth. Instead, it amplifies it. By inspiring others to rise, she creates a world where everyone can shine, where everyone has the opportunity to step into their power and reach their full potential. As she continues on her own journey, she remains humble, grounded, and focused on what truly matters, not just her success, but the success of those around her. The more she empowers others, the more she realizes that her true purpose isn't just to change her own life, but to change the lives of those she touches. She has the ability to create a legacy of strength, positivity, and empowerment that transcends generations, leaving a mark on the world that is far greater than anything she could achieve alone. Thanks for watching.